How's it going? So I'm gonna make super quick video on this. I accidentally had my comments off because I was filling in a form, and then I looked at the comments on YouTube. Hallelujah, brother. Hallelujah. Anyway, okay. For scientists who want to train themselves to listen to people who struggle with deductive reasoning, I'm talking about people who live with emotions, people with like 20 IQ. We're talking about kids here. We're talking about people that just say that, oh, I believe something is true because many people believe it's true. Or I believe it's true because I feel it's true. I believe it's true because a popular book says it's true. Okay, so let's just imagine real quick. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into explanations, right? You can you probably find it out yourself. But if you want to training to just how to listen to nonsense and understand how people make mistakes in logical thinking, you want this channel, which is called The Line. So Matt Dillahunty and Jimmy, they, well, it's mostly like Matt Dillahunty. He's kind of like the owner of the channel, but he's very good at breaking down bad thought processes and fixing them. So the show is about people call him and trying to prove to him that God exists, whatever way they want to prove it, right? And you get a lot of kind of experience of see how people kind of who you will notice that people who call most of the time they're very bad at kind of like overall thinking, and the way they reach conclusions is kind of very vague, subjective, and weird, right? So you will hear a lot of these kind of use cases that just appear, and you start to think to yourself, holy shit, that's such an incorrect way of thinking about stuff. And then Matt usually, sometimes he goes very hard, so be ready for that. He takes no shit. He doesn't care how old you are, what your status is, or if you have disability. If your logic is shit, he's gonna, and especially if you're trying to convince other people that your logic is right, he's gonna go very hard on you. So I'm just saying that, be ready for that, right? But very good lessons from him, just how to overall, how to kind of reason correctly, right? So a lot of people ask, how do you get into philosophy? So philosophy basically study of what is real, right? Essentially, like, there are a lot of definitions about what is essentially, like, what is real, what is true, or what is false. So based on that, you can study, which is called the laws of thought, right? So that's kind of like it will help you, right? It's I'm not an expert on this stuff, so I'm not gonna get into it. But the second one is you want to do propositional thinking. One sec. Yeah, I found it. So I'll link this. I'm not going to link the other one. I'm going to link this one. I'm not going to link propositional calculus. Just this one, propositions, right? So it's a branch of philosophy of language, right? And it's logic. So basically what you're trying to do, you're trying to determine if something is true or it is false. So based on that, you can, like I said, do you remember I did the... Okay, so remember I said that you kind of, when you start doing kind of science stuff, it basically breaks down into this structure. So you have a proposition and a hypothesis, which is, let's say, I don't know, water, like the easiest examples, water boils at 150 degrees, let's say, right? Then you do evidence. Well, you need to do, normally there is also methodology in here. Methodology. So this is how you're gonna test. How you're gonna test it, right? How you're gonna test this proposition. And then evidence and results. So this is primary. Usually it's primary or secondary, right? Primary is when you do the experiment yourself. So you boil the water, you put in the thermometer, and you see at what temperature does the water boil. You find out it's 100 degrees, right? So that's primary testing, where you yourself do the experiment and publish the paper. There is secondary sources. This is the ones I'm asking you to use most of the time. When somebody says something on YouTube, on the internet, take it with a grain of salt. Check credible sources that can verify that what they're saying, that their proposition is correct or incorrect. Let's say somebody tells you some kind of supplement enhances your power, like it gives you more strength. So that's their proposition, that taking XYZ increases strength. Right? So then you go and you find sources where, okay, is it actually true? Right? If they say it's true, you can probably get the supplement. And I'm talking about credible sources. I'm not talking about Logan Paul or some kind of celebrity. I'm talking about scientific, like Harvard, Oxford, Stanford, MIT, credible. Most of the time, universities will have some kind of papers that can validate whether it's true or not. Wikipedia is a good one. Wikipedia has a lot of sources. It used to be shit, but now it's quite good. It has a lot of sources in it, right? Now, then you can do your primary research. So you say, okay, I'm going to buy supplements and I'm going to see it if it affects me. And then you get good results, and then you can conclude that, okay, it works, right? For example, I did that with L-theanine. Do you remember? I said, okay, does L-theanine actually work, right? I did some digging around. Some people said, okay, it works. Some people said it does not. Some people say it's like there is marginal benefits, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna test it myself. So I tested it on myself, and I can tell you, yeah, it works, but very small. Like you're talking 5% improvement in your cognitive, like focus. Now it's definitely work for sleeping. Sleeping is good. L-theanine, right? And then recommendation would be, okay, so take L-theanine, but dosage is key, right? Well, I already spoke about it. I'm just using this as an example, right? So let's go back to the boiling water, right? You find secondary sources that say, okay, water does not boil at 150, it boils at 100. You do your research, you find out at 100 is the correct one, right? So then you do conclusion that water boils at 100. Recommendation, if you want to boil water, make sure you have enough energy to bring water to 100 degrees at least. That's it. Done, right? So that's kind of the essence. That's the structure. You make the proposal. Methodology, most of the time you can probably skip. Well, it's up to you, right? But I know what I'm going to do. Well, sometimes I write methodology. But okay, fine. Proposition, how you're going to test it, what results did you get. You can also check what other people type of results other people got. Conclusion, does it work? Recommendation, do it or not do it. Is it true or is it false? Fundamentally, we're trying to say, is it true? Is what's said here true or is it false? For example, somebody makes a proposition. Day trading will make you rich. You do, okay, your methodology is going to be, I'm going to analyze papers from universities that tested day trading and see what type of results do they get. So for example, I'm not going to get into like 1 million different sources, but I mean, you want to have a lot of credible sources, like 3, maybe 5, right? But look, this is São Paulo University. They tested day trading and they said, okay, nobody can actually achieve meaningful results in day trading. Another one is this one here. You see pseudoscience. Pseudoscience is like shit that people think works, but it actually doesn't. Right? So technical analysis is day trading. What they do is they look at charts and they try to do the candlesticks, the cute little graphs, and they try to predict the direction of the market. Now, this is listed under pseudoscience because people think it works, but it doesn't. Right? So based on this, you can conclude that, okay, based on secondary resources that we just looked at, day trading does not work. Another thing is you can look at, for example, like Peter Boyle, he has a YouTube channel, right? And if you ask him, does day trading work? He'll tell you no, like almost nobody can achieve any results at all. So credible sources from secondary sources, credible, and they tell you it doesn't work. Now you can do yourself, for example, do like open up an Excel, pretend that you bought stock, and see if you can effectively trade it for free. I tested it; it doesn't work at all. You cannot predict direction of the market or time the market. It simply does not work. Another one would be long-term capital, long-term capital management. Right? Again, we're talking about Nobel Prize economists who are running the fund. Guys, this is Nobel Prize. Like, guys, they are the brains of the brains. They had the army of the best, and they couldn't do it because timing the market is impossible. And when day traders tell you that it's possible, they're telling you about timing the market, which has been proven to be impossible to do. Now, the another question is you have to ask, okay, why is he selling courses? Why isn't that day trading? Surely, if he makes so much money, right, he's filing his tax returns, he can borrow money from the bank. Let's say he says, oh, some people say, oh, I need the money for day trading. Dude, I have trader accounts myself. If your account is in profit and you make solid investments, you can borrow money at 5 to 6% interest rate. Banks will give it to you at 9. So on the platform where he's trading, most of the time he can borrow the money. And if he's trading profitably, on my platform it's 1/3, right? So for example, let's say you have $500,000, you can borrow up to 170,000 at 6% interest rate with a click of a button, with a snap of a finger, right? And if he claims to have millions and millions, imagine he says, oh, I'm like multi-millionaire, I have 5 million. 1/3 of that is about 2 million. He can borrow at 6% 2 million. Why the hell would he sit here and tell you about a 500 euro course, which is like, I don't know, 100 people subscribe? It's like what? What is it? 5,000? 500. Let me just multiply real quick. Oh my god. Multiplied by 100. I think it's like 5,000, right? 50,000. Yeah. So he gets 50,000. And then he starts, if he can, with a snap of a finger, borrow 2 million for him trading. It's just not time efficient to do it. And the reason for that, why they do that, is because they make money on selling you the courses. They do not make money on day trading at all. Right? So you know that, like, they're full of shit. They know that they know that proposition they're making is probably false. I'm talking like 99.99999% false. Right? So based on that, you can say what they're saying is false. Recommendation: do not buy the course. And that's it. So I hope you understand how to kind of... Shit, let me make a template out of this, honestly, for you guys. One sec. Okay, so I've done it. So there it is. Like I always said, always think on paper. So again, somebody tells you fulfillment by Amazon works, dropshipping works. What are you gonna do to see if it works or not? Because they're gonna tell you, oh, see the results of testimonials, which is normally actors, and you pay them and they get to say anything. I already made a video on this. I mean, you can hire an actor. He's going to tell you that gravity doesn't exist, and if you just drink water, you don't need to eat food. You can drink, you become breatharian, whatever, right? Then you analyze, then you conclude. You're gonna conclude that it doesn't work because we already tried it. And recommendation is, don't buy Amazon course. Instead, invest that money into something, right? S&P or whatever, right? Or spend that money on an actual course. Because what are you trying to accomplish? You're trying to increase your income. When you say, I want to build a business, what you're really saying is, I want to increase my income. Okay, analyze your job and say, okay, what do people who are above me, who earn more money than me, what type of skills and courses have they done? And then go and spend that money on those courses, as opposed to dropshipping YouTube nonsense, okay? Alright, so I'm gonna link this in the description below. This one, okay, I'm gonna link this one. Let me just put them in here. We need the line, put that in here. Logic, okay. Laws of thought. And then we need propositions, yeah. That's kind of most of the time you're probably going to be dealing in propositions, honestly. And then that's about it. Okay, take care. Bye bye.